Hey guys, so today, right triangle trig, which I think is one of the easier things you do. It sounds hard, but trig is actually pretty easy. So, here's our 6 different ratios. Sine, opposite over hypotenuse, cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse, tangents, opposite over adjacent, cotangent is the opposite of tangent. So instead, it's adjacent over opposite. So these are opposites. Secant is the opposite of sine. Nope, I said that wrong. Secant is the opposite of cosine. These two are opposites. And then cosecant is the opposite of sine. These two are opposites, okay? Now, everything depends on the angle. You have to go to the angle first. We know going to the angle, if this is my angle, theta, we use that symbol for my angle, then directly opposite will be the opposite side. The hypotenuse is always opposite the 90. And then the adjacent side is the side next to my angle. In this case, there's 2 sides that are adjacent. However, the hypotenuse already got a name. Okay, so let's take a look. So number 1, let's find the sine of 30. Let's find the cosine of 30. And let's find the tangent of 30. Okay? So if you have not done a lot of right triangle trig, listen, most important, pick your angle first. Most important thing is pick your angle first. Well, 30 degrees. That's my angle. Once you pick your angle, then the name of your sides just follows along. I know for sure the 2 has to be my hypotenuse. In this case, 30, directly opposite the 30 is the 1, so that's my opposite. And then the square root of 3 is next to it, which makes that the adjacent. Okay, so let's follow what we have up on the board.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes, Lauren.
On the test, will we have to figure out the sides?
Yes, sometimes, yeah. So, sine of 30. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. 1 over 2, that's it. That's it. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so it's the square root of 3 over 2. Tangent is the opposite over the adjacent, which is 1 over the square root of 3. Now, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change this because that's not a very good answer. I'm going to change it to the square root of 3 over 3 is a better answer, okay? What if we go to the other angle? What if we go to the 60? What if we do the sine of 60, the cosine of 60, and the tangent of 60? Well, what happens is my names change. My names change. Because from the 60, this side's my opposite side, right? And from the 60, my 1 is my adjacent side, so the ratios are going to change. So 60, sine is opposite over adjacent. Square root of 3 over 1. Oh, over 2, my bad. Cosine of 60, adjacent over hypotenuse. 1 over 2. Tangent of 60, adjacent over hypotenuse, which is square root of 3 over 1. Okay? Okay, let's look at sine of 45, cosine of 45, and tangent of 45. Now, there's 2 45s, so it doesn't really matter, does it? So let's pick this one here. It doesn't really matter. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, 1 over the square root of 2, okay? A better answer is square root of 2 over 2. That's a better answer. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse, 1 over the square root of 2. A better answer, square root of 2 over 2. Tangent of 45, opposite over adjacent, 1 over 1. Thumbs up. You guys have done this before, right? Thumbs up. Okay. Lauren, how am I doing?
Great.
Okay, turn the page. Okay? All right. Okay, here it is. So, I want you to circle these 2. Okay? So I said that sine is the opposite of cosecant. There it is, right? It's 1 over. And I said that tangent's the opposite of cotangent. It just flipped it, didn't it? Right? Okay, now, what I want to do more than anything is I really want to slide the page. Oh, and there's all these. You guys have seen these, right? Let's flip the page all the way to page 225, okay? Page 225. Okay, you guys on page 225? Okay, I'm going to be done with this pretty quickly, but I want to go through I want to do 4 for sure, 1, 4, and I want to do 5 with you, okay? Okay, so let's look at number 1. All right, so if I want to evaluate all 6 trig functions, this triangle's missing something, okay? It's missing the hypotenuse. How do I find the hypotenuse, girls? How do I find this? How do I find this side right here? Pythagorean theorem. How about we go, all right, I'm going to go 8 squared plus 15 squared equals c squared. Remember Pythagorean theorem, right? Or how about 64 plus 225 equals c squared, right? 289 equals c squared. Square root, I get 17. This side's 17. Okay, now that I've got that side, I know what the hypotenuse is, 17. The opposite side's 15, and the adjacent is 8. So let me label that, okay? So here is my hypotenuse. Here's my opposite, and here's my adjacent, okay? And I want you guys to figure this out. I'm going to write them down, and I want you to figure it out. I want everybody to do this. I want you to find the sine of theta. I want you to find the cosine of theta. I want you to find the tangent of theta. I want you to find the cosecant of theta. I want you to find the secant of theta, and I want you to find the cotangent of theta. Okay, go ahead. You've got a couple of minutes to do this, okay? Okay, I want you guys to figure this out.
Are we going to wait on the recording?
Yeah, it's still recording. So we'll have some dead time right now. Whoever's watching is going to have to think, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to have to figure this out, huh? Or they fast forward, huh? Okay. Okay, you guys figure this out. So it should be a fraction here. So for example, this should be 15 over 17.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, can you get the other 5?
Yes.
Of course you can. Okay, what'd you get for cosine? Bruce says 8 over 17?
Yes.
Yes? Sky, what'd you get for tangent of theta? Brian, you gonna help him out? Brian, what'd you get for tangent of theta?
15 over 8.
15 over 8? Yep.
Okay, Brian. Good job.
You sound just like him.
Cooper, cosecant.
I got 8 over 15.
What?
I didn't actually do it.
Oh.
Let me,
What's the opposite of sine? Does that help?
right, yeah, let me refer to my following trig ratios. I think it's going to be 17 over 15.
You the man. Cody, secant of theta.
Which one's that?
Opposite of cosine.
Okay, that's 17 over 8.
Yep.
Do the last one?
Yeah, Lauren, go ahead.
8 over 15.
You are so smart.
Rock.
You are a rock star. Easy, right? You guys agree? Okay, go to 4.
I think this is the only part that will be easy for me to help you
Yeah,
on the test.
we can do it. Yeah.
Okay, so when we get to Friday, we're going to have a little quiz on this stuff. So it should be an easy quiz on Friday, right? Okay, now,
Oh, it's a quiz?
Yeah.
Test?
that's just a quiz. We haven't had a quiz for a while, okay? So number 4,
Says they're all quiz.
if I want the other 5 trig ratios, what you need to do is build a right triangle. So what I'm going to do on 4 is I'm actually going to make a right triangle, okay? So to do these, you need a triangle, right? You need a right triangle. I'm going to put theta here. There's my angle, right? Here's what I know about sine. Watching? Sine is equal to the it's equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse, isn't it? take a look up there. That means my 3 has to go here, and my 19 has to go there. Think about it. This fraction is 3 over 19, right? It tells me the opposite side of the triangle is 3. It tells me the hypotenuse is 19. Okay? What I don't know is the adjacent side. So I'm going to use Pythagorean's theorem. Let's just call it A for a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? So let's start off with a squared plus 3 squared equals 19 squared. I need this other side, right? If I'm going to do all the other ratios, I need to find the adjacent side. I've got a squared plus 9 equals, I don't know. Can I borrow your calculator? Thank you. Yeah, I sure can. Okay. What is 19 squared? It's a big number. 361. Thank you.
So you said
Minus 9, right? Minus 9. I get 352 square root, right?
okay.
Square root of that, and we'll round to the nearest tenth. I get about a 18.8. So I've got about an 18.8, which I'll put here. I'll put an 18.8, okay? Okay, now, let's see if you guys can do this. You should, right? Colby, you've done this before. I know you have. So tell me what sine of theta is. We already know that one, right? Cosine of theta. Tangent of theta. Tell me what cosecant of theta is. Tell me what secant of theta is. And tell me what cotangent of theta is. Okay, can you guys do that? Okay, give you about 3 minutes to figure that out.
Sorry.
Is that 18.8?
Yeah, it's 18.8.
Wait, isn't the first one already solved for us?
Yes, sure is. Done. I totally agree. Yep. Yep.
Hard to do.
Sky, I'm going to call on you this time.
This guy.
Brian, I'm going to call on you this time. And Sky, they're also right up there.
You're gonna call on me.
Does that help?
You're gonna call on me.
Ben, I'm going to call on you. Ben, you ready? Ben, what's cosine of theta?
Cosine of frick. Bella closed my page with all this. Wait, no, she didn't. What is it?
Cosine of theta.
Cosine of theta is 19 over. Wait, 18 and a half over 19.
18.8 over 19. Nice job, Ben.
Yeah.
Sky, you ready? Tangent of theta. The other way around. So tangent's opposite. Tangent's opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. 3 over 18.8, okay? Okay, you ready? Brian, easy one. Cosecant. 19 over 3, because it's the opposite of that one, isn't it? Nice job, Brian. All right, Michael. Secant.
19 over 18.8.
Yep. Makawa. Cotangent.
18.8 over 3.
Yes. Okay, now, last example, and I'm done. Number 5. Last example, and I'll be done, okay?
Oh, this is.
Last example, okay? So, if you need to solve in a right triangle, the first thing you have to do is this. Always go to your angle first. I think I've said that before, haven't I? What angle? That's my angle. Then once you go to your angle, you can name your sides, right? So I know the 16 is the hypotenuse, correct?
Yes.
The x is which I want to find is my adjacent side. Do you agree with that? I don't need the opposite. Don't need it. Don't care. The opposite is not part of this problem, okay? So if I'm going to use my hypotenuse and adjacent or adjacent hypotenuse, I look up there and say, okay, which one of those three uses these two words? Which one of those three uses cosine? You guys see that? So I'm going to start with cosine theta equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse, right? I'm just writing. You're way ahead of me. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just writing what's up there, and I'm going to do what Max said. Okay, now, she's right. Let's fill in the numbers, okay? Theta means angle. My angle's 30. Good job. So write cosine of 30 equals, the adjacent side is x, correct? The hypotenuse is 16. If I need to solve for x, I'll multiply both sides by 16, right? If I want to solve for x, multiply by 16, times by 16, times by 16. And then I'm just going to use my calculator, where x then is equal to 16 times the cosine of 30. I'm just going to use my calculator. I'll show you. I'm just going to go 16 times the cosine of 30. And I get an answer of about, oh, that can't be right. Yep, I'm in the wrong mode. I have an answer of about 13.86. Okay, last little thing. I made a mistake on my calculator because there's two ways to do angles. If I go to my mode, we are doing degrees. We'll learn about radians next week, okay? That's all I got. What do you think? Pretty easy?